viewer discretion is advised, as we'll be talking about some mature stuff if you know what I'm saying. But hey, if YouTube really isn't for children, then there really shouldn't be a problem, right, Miss YouTube?
I guess you win this round, Miss Robyn. For now.
If there's one thing anime has been telling me lately, is that life is so stressful and exhausting in Japan that a grand majority wishes they could just escape. At least is what I'm getting with all the isekais they keep producing, but aside from those, we see a variety of shows highlighting the stresses and concerns from modern day lives in Japan. Some a bit more exaggerated than others, but the message is loud and clear. Stick to the status quo and become a fine and outstanding citizen, or else be shamed by society for your poor life choices. And they wonder why their birth rates are declining. Here we have another anime highlighting the stresses of modern life in Japan, but through the eyes of teenagers expected to uphold moral decency through one of the toughest phases in their lives, puberty. Oh Maidens in Your Savage Season was a manga series created by Mari Okada and illustrated by Nao Emoto. The series was published in Kodansha's shonen magazine Beisatsu Shonen from December 2016 to October 2019. A 12-episode series was produced and released for the summer 2019 lineup by Studio Les Deuce? The same studio that brought you... not much actually. I mean, they've got 13 titles in their history, and most of them are prequels and OVAs. I'm guessing they're kind of new, so we'll just have to wait and see what else they can do. Anyways, the story is basically what I said earlier. Society expects these teenagers to study and make themselves into working class citizens with high moral standards. The only problem is that no one really talks to these kids about the birds and the bees while still pressuring these kids to be responsible. Sure, because this plan never fails at all, am I right? Do they even remember what it's like being young and full of hormones? Our main focus of the story is on the members of the literature club: Kazusa, Momoko, Rika, Hitoha, and Nina. No, not that Nina. Oh god, not that one either! Each of them are very different with their upbringing and background, but come together to discuss love and sex through the romanticized stories they read, thinking it's the only mature way to address the subject. But then the school principals tried to shut down the club when other students reported them for reading smut, and they also don't have a teacher to counsel them. So they had to find a teacher who's willing to supervise the girls while assuring the school that they're not just sitting around the club room reading smut. Seriously, sir, there is a huge difference between reading a lovemaking scene from Snow Falling on Cedars and the entirety of 50 Shades of Grey. One is a literary classic addressing the hypocrisy and prejudice against Japanese Americans in the 1950s, and the other is fanfiction trash that I just borrowed from your wife. So some of you are probably wondering why I've chosen to review this title so suddenly. Well, there's two reasons. One, this was one of the few titles from the 2019 lineup that actually made me stop what I was doing just to finish watching all 12 episodes in one sitting. Other titles just didn't impress me after the first few episodes, or I told myself I'd just come back and watch the other ones later, but this one and The Rising of the Shield Hero were the only titles that made me want to just watch the rest of the show immediately. 2. Colored me surprised when I saw this nominated for Crunchyroll's Best Anime of 2019. Like, usually only mainstream titles get this kind of nomination, but this one? Granted, I was a bit upset to see Rising of the Shield Hero not get a nomination, still am, but I felt like that one person in the background cheering to see this title get the recognition it deserves. Woohoo! So yeah, I voted for this particular series because it's honestly that good. As I said, this is a school life show that acknowledges the stresses of youth, with society expecting these kids to not think about doing the dirty until they get a stable job and a partner to marry. Kind of setting the bar a bit high is all I'm saying. Some of the students ignore the teachers by having secret affairs with their classmates, but it's our 5 girls who have a bad rep for reading classical literature that just happens to have lovemaking scenes. So our main girls basically show the audience the different ways many modern girls approach the topic of love and sex, which some of you can definitely relate to one of their stories. First of all, we have Kazusa, a young girl who had a childhood friend named Izumi, but due to his growing popularity with other girls and her conflicting feelings plaguing her head, she tends to avoid him as he's left to wonder whatever happened to their friendship. Granted, it ain't easy to talk to him when their school is plagued with the ever-troublesome disease known as bitches being crazyitis. Hey Izumi, it's been a long time, how are you? Never mind, bye! On one hand, she feels that she can't talk to him without being harassed by a bunch of girls who obviously want Senpai's D. On the other hand, she can't get over the fact that her precious friend is now growing into maturity and may have, dare I say it, impure thoughts about women. Bum bum bum! Nah, there's no way. Izumi is not like every other guy on this planet, now is he? Yeah, I'm just gonna pause right here since she carelessly walks in on him without knocking, as he was, you know, doing the deed that makes her want to bleach her eyeballs right now. So yeah, basically, Kazusa is that girl next door wondering if she can fall in love with her dear friend despite the fact that he's been like a brother to her all her life. As for the other girls, we have Momoko, Kazusa's best friend who encourages others to follow their hearts while listening to their problems. But then she suddenly finds a boy who's crushing on her. She thinks it's nice and all. Never thought she'd get one, but it's cool having a boyfriend. But she finds herself not really going along with the relationship. She starts to avoid his text messages, gets frustrated around him, and will make up excuses to cancel the dates, but she can't really explain why. And I'd rather not spoil her revelation because it is way too precious and I kinda ship it. Hiroha is the stubborn teenager who thinks she knows what sex and love can be from all the books she's read, so she likes to think that she's somewhat of an expert. She even wrote her own dirty book just to show how well she knows about the forbidden topic. But once others start to discover that she obviously has no physical experience about the topic, she starts to find desperate ways to figure out why people treat her that way. And when I say desperate, I mean she convinces a man she's never met online to have a one-night stand just so she'll finally know what it's really like. Kind of like that one sister from Domestic Girlfriend, only Hiroha is more relatable as you understand her frustrations. And look, I'm just basically saying Domestic Girlfriend is trash. Whether it be good trash or bad trash is in the eye of the trash beholder, but let's just be honest with this one. Nina comes off as the cool and collected one who's pretty keen to find a partner one day, but the very idea of losing her virginity invades a devastating thought in her head due to her childhood. So basically she was a child star that was heavily favored in the eye of her director. I mean, he doesn't necessarily do anything physical to her, but he puts an idea into her head that she can no longer be beautiful when she officially loses her childlike innocence. So we're sadly seeing the mentality of a damaged teenager trying to find self-worth when the one person she looked up to tossed her aside when she began to age. Okay, seriously, can we do top 10 scumbags anime? Does that sound like a good idea? Because I'm pretty sure this asshole would make it on the list somewhere. Like, how can you tell a child that and expect her to live on after that? But hey, if this show was trying to show the expectations as well as the hypocrisy of society versus teenagers, they're nailing it with this. And then we have Rika, the president of the literature club and the one who started off the most conservative. With how the other students treated her, she swore off the very thoughts of love and sex, thinking it's only for scoundrels and Neanderthals. She even stood up in her classroom, condemning her fellow classmates for openly admitting their sexual relationships. She hated most of her classmates for being perverted and thought most men only had one thing on their minds, and it's shameful. That is until one guy in her class notices her for her intellect and her hidden beauty. He even defends her when the other classmates called her ugly by comparing her to a very popular model. And from that moment forward, she starts to rethink her position on love and sex and starts to consider having a relationship with the one guy who actually noticed her. And yes, I did look at this screen thinking to myself that this was me when I was in high school and this is getting awkward. I mean, back in those days, did I really think my classmates were unashamed perverts constantly in open relationships? Yup! But to be fair, I did go to high school in Central Florida. Did I find it very weird to have that one pretty cheerleader compliment me and try to be my friend with me wondering if this was a trap? Yup! And seriously, Dallas, if you're watching this for some strange reason, how you doing, girl? I hope you're doing well. Did I think I would never find love until a certain someone jumped into my life and make me feel like a beautiful goddess for the first time in my life? Yep! Oh my god, ladies and gentlemen, I found my anime equivalent! And her name is Rika Sonozaki! She's me! She's me to a goddamn T, and I couldn't believe how on the nose her transition was like mine! She's my anime twin, and I honestly don't know how I feel about this. I'm getting awkward flashbacks of high school, please help. So, what's the point that I'm trying to make? Why did this show get nominated for Best Anime of 2019 by Crunchyroll, and why do I like it? Well, it's not as insane as Shimonetta, and it's not as dark as Happy Sugar Life, but it gets the point across brilliantly. Young teenagers in Japan are getting frustrated with how the adults in their lives put so many unrealistic expectations on them during one of the most sensitive moments in their lives. It gets dark enough to the point where 2 students are expelled just because they were caught in a hotel district trying to find their teacher. But even when that teacher tries to clear their name and take full responsibility of what happened, the principals stand with their choices just to make an example on the school. Are you kidding me? Like, they know they're innocent, but choose to ruin their lives just to make it 100% clear that sex in high school is bad. This show brilliantly captures the frustrations of youth while trying to remind us all what it's really like to be young. It's awkward, it's embarrassing, it's frustrating, and it makes you remember how young and stupid we all were once. Through these 5 girls, we see a reflection of modern teenagers reacting to life and love very differently, and in a way that just left me impressed with how they approach the topic. Like, this is not me saying adults are being way too strict, so get out there kids and have some fun, use protection. No, this is me praising a show just trying to tell adults how frustrating it is being young, going through puberty, and coming to terms with their growing bodies. So maybe ease up a little and let them enjoy the wonders of life. I mean, teach them about it first in a mature way, but yeah, ease up on the strict expectations and let them enjoy this temporary phase in their lives. So yeah, I do believe this is one of the best anime of 2019. If you're interested, you can watch all 12 episodes in sub or dub on Sentai Filmworks streaming website HIDIVE. It may not be flashy with its animation, but it's a wonderful story I'd highly recommend. If you're in the mood for a teenage high school drama addressing the issues of teenage stresses, then you should definitely check out Oh Maidens in your Savage Season.
Damn! Kids, I don't know what's wrong with these kids today. Kids, who can understand anything they say?
Getting ready for a date with Ken. Also, if you ain't looking fine, he ain't taking you nowhere. You're going to McDonald's for dinner.
This is awkward. Not you're awkward, but just because I'm awkward. You're gorgeous. Wait, what?
Check out my abstinence ring. It means I made a pledge not to have sex.
That's crazy. You can't give up sex. You got a responsibility. You see, Meg, you're what they call a practice girl.
I'm going to blow you to bits!
Kinky.
Oh, not like that, pervert!
Where's the option to give her a banana? I have a banana. I want to give her a banana. I've heard that girls like bananas.
You're a pervert. Normal people don't sit at home and look at porn on the internet.
My inner goddess has stopped dancing and is staring too, open-mouthed and drooling slightly.
My guess is no one's ever loved you before.
Jesus.
Just naive. Not naive, just new to love. Like I was. And when you're new, you're bound to get it wrong.
So you're saying I'm wrong for you?
What? No.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
No, it doesn't. This movie is drivel.
Oh, yeah, that was smooth, wasn't it, eh? You just wait till I can see what you can see what I can do with other parts of my body.
Listen up, you virgins. I bet you never had a real girlfriend. Real girlfriend? Pathetic. You losers. It's all about that Kanojo VR, everybody.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
You know what happens when I'm lonely, Blitzy?
Oh, God fucking damn it.
When I'm lonely, I become hungry. And when I become hungry, I want to choke on that red of yours, your and lick all of your before taking out your and with more teeth until you're screaming.
Like, I'm not kidding when I say I sat through all 12 episodes in one sitting. Like I said, there were some titles that just really didn't interest me within the first 2 episodes, and other titles where I just thought to myself, yeah, I'll just watch it later. But I stopped everything that I was doing at that moment just to watch the whole series. Like, just look at my tweets. After episode 1, I just thought to myself, okay, I want to see where this is going. I wanted to know more about these girls and what would happen to them, so I just kept watching in one sitting. Go me. Let me know what you think of this anime, and which anime do you think will win Best Anime of 2019 at the Crunchyroll Anime Awards. I kinda want this one to win, but I'm sure it's gonna go to Demon Slayer considering the huge hype it created. I mean, it's not a bad hype, but it's a hype. Anyways, if you want to keep up to date and know what my next video will be or get notified with any updates from me, be sure to follow Anime America on Facebook and Twitter. Once again, I can't thank you all enough for supporting our channel, and I can't thank our awesome Patreon supporters enough. You all have done so much to keep this channel alive, and I'm truly grateful to you all. More awesome videos will be on the way. Thank you all so much for watching, and stay tuned to Anime America.